So it's October 18th, 2012, and my wife and I'm on my way to the first Citizens Advisory Committee on Elections and Community Involvement that was being held at the Brookhurst Community Center on Crescent Avenue off of Brookhurst. And we're traveling along, and we're at Harbor and Broadway, and in front of the Anaheim Library we have the first pop-up of police. Didn't think much about it. After all, their headquarters is just down a few yards down the road there. But this is remember the Anaheim Library, where the Anaheim Police Gang Unit had pulled their dirty look harassment stunt at the entrance just over a month prior. And then when we had found my wife's car vandalized the very next morning. It's closing in on the 6 p.m. hour, by the way, which was when the meeting was going to occur. So anyway, we are making our right turn onto Brookhurst from Broadway, and as we approach Brookhurst and Lincoln, you can catch a police vehicle right there to your center and then slightly to your left, crossing the intersection. So I just made note of that. So we're on our way to this first community meeting regarding the districting issue, voting issue, and we catch one police vehicle in front of the Anaheim Library and a second police vehicle crossing the intersection of Brookhurst and Lincoln. And then we come across, and I think the next light is going to be Catalina Street, and we'll just kind of show you that we're basically approaching Crescent on Brookhurst. And we'll be making a left turn on Crescent. That's the university there on the corner of Brookhurst and Crescent. And so here we are merging. We're going to be making a merging onto the left turn lane there. Okay, so that's Brookhurst and Crescent, and to our left there, a couple of yards down the road there, is the Brookhurst Community Center, and I attend the meeting. It took about an hour and a half or so. So now we're on Brookhurst again, heading home after the historic meeting, Anaheim meeting there, and we're approaching Lincoln, and it's usually Lincoln is the road we take when we're returning home, mostly because we're jumping off on the 5 freeway exits and getting on Lincoln, but in this case we're coming from the community center. Anyway, so we're at the light. It's Brookhurst and Lincoln. My wife's about to make the left turn. It's a 2-lane left turn, and she's on the far right. And you notice the white vehicle there to our left. Kind of looks like my wife's vehicle, but I'm not too sure. And remember the police vehicle that had appeared on Brookhurst and Lincoln earlier in the day when we were heading towards the meeting. And so we're sitting there waiting for the light to change and make our left turn onto Lincoln, and I'm going to let the sound play.
Digo, gente que hace eso merece un descuento. Mira, este se me va a meter en mi vida.
So this vehicle veers into my wife's lane as he's making a left turn, and you can see my wife was almost at the curb there trying to avoid this guy hitting her, and then he veers into his lane and immediately jumps into that little mini strip mall thing up ahead. And what my wife I let that audio play. My wife was making the comment right off the bat as we were making the left turn in Spanish, "Look, this guy is turning into my lane." And I didn't want to speak about it further with her, and that's the fellow right there, because I don't want to increase the damage to my wife any more than it already has played out. But this fellow basically veered into our lane as we were making a left onto Lincoln on our way home from that meeting. And remember, the police vehicle that had crossed that intersection of Brookhurst and Lincoln when we were traveling towards the meeting an hour or two, about 2 hours earlier. So this particular event occurred at approximately 7:46 p.m. at Brookhurst and Lincoln in, I think this is Anaheim, California. So let's review the garbage that's occurred with my wife's vehicle. There's the traffic accident on Lincoln and Harbor on July 27, 2012.
Es que al fin del día, este es uno de los candados.
Oh my god.
No lo pego.
So that was our traffic accident, the July 27, 2012 video to our left, and then that was followed immediately as we continue on Harbor with the same vehicle, the white Nissan Sentra that my wife drives, who then immediately pulls in front of my wife, and as this woman pulls in front of my wife, there appears two police vehicles. So that's incident number 1, July 27th, 2012. Followed up by this Long Beach police officer on September 1st, 2012. We were celebrating our anniversary. She pulls in front of my wife without her sirens on as we were at a stoplight and the traffic continued. My wife could have easily ran into her on her passenger side. September 8th, 2012, we have John, Operation Halo Welter's Anaheim gang unit that was at the trash can as I was approaching the library, and when I stuck around, complete with my camera that hangs on the left side of my face, they took off, which is what you do when you know you're violating someone's civil rights. And then either on that same day or the very next day, which is when we noticed this, we noticed this damage to my wife's white Nissan Sentra the next day at the Home Depot parking lot near the 5 freeway in Jamboree. And then again, recapping yesterday's event, October 18th, police vehicle at the front of the same library of the Anaheim gang unit appearance, followed by the police vehicle at the corner of Brookhurst and Lincoln as we were on our way to the Citizens Advisory Committee on Elections and Community Involvement, followed up an hour and a half, 2 hours later, by a left turn at that same corner of Brookhurst and Lincoln with a vehicle that kind of looks like my wife's. I'm not too sure if it was a Nissan Sentra, pulling into our lane as we're turning left onto Lincoln. Again, that was yesterday, October 18th. They say that if you don't remember your history, you're condemned to repeat it. And yesterday I went to that meeting, the Citizens Advisory Committee meeting, because I wanted to help lend voice to the Hispanic community here in Anaheim, California, being a Hispanic American myself, born in New York City. and the notion that there's the possibility that Orange County law enforcement, in particular the Anaheim Police Department, because this is where I'm currently residing, could be harassing me and my wife as we're going to these meetings. All I could do is remind you of the events of your city in Anaheim in 1925, when a significant portion of your city council was recalled, and the overwhelming majority of the Anaheim Police Department was fired because people came to know that these two entities had been infiltrated by the Ku Klux Klan. And it wasn't Hispanics that did the recalling. And sure as hell in 1925 wouldn't have been blacks that did the recalling. It was the good and decent people of Anaheim, the white German population of Anaheim, that recognized the garbage that had infiltrated their institutions, and they did something about it. It's now 87 years later, and they say that over half the population in Anaheim are Hispanic, and the significant number and influential number of white people in this community, predominantly German, I presume. These are the sons and daughters and the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of those people who recognized evil when they saw it and did something about it. So it would best serve the city of Anaheim to remember their history and to understand that we're now 87 years further in. And if the people in your town could show such incredible good judgment 87 years ago, imagine the good judgment they're going to show in the second decade of the 21st century.